Oh, I want this one. Okay, I think we are live. Let us know when you're seeing and hearing us and all of that. But yes, more languages of Pillar World. What was I gonna do? I was gonna pull up. Hello, Nemo.
Hello,
okay,
Nemo.
There are people here. So if I pull up, I have too many little like of the little, what are these even called? The like screens panels to choose from. Hi, Tinguish.
Screens panels.
Yeah, like at the bottom, like all the little ones I've set up, and they kind of all look together, but they have different names. So like I have Notion streaming and Photoshop streaming and Jake streaming, which is what I want. Hello, people. Oh, yay, no work for George. Love it. Okay.
You can guide us.
Yeah. Okay, so we were just chatting about what we were going to do today. And I had a thought. I have a few thoughts on this that I would like to propose to you, Jake.
Okay.
So, the first thing is that if I can like understand the level of world building we'd want to do more naming of things, I am game to just make some decisions on some of these, right? Like I can do that to an extent. Secondarily, though, for Circle C here, I do have an idea, a very good idea of the culture, world building, whatever, of the people that are going to live there. Like, I already have the book idea for that, kind of well developed, and we have the map for that already. So we do have a lot of stuff for that if we wanted to go towards our Korean-esque daughter towards C. I mean, we'd have to do A and then like go towards C, but like we could also, knowing what C is going to be, kind of figure out what we'd want there to be in A, and then like obviously what some of these other children, granddaughters, however those are referred, you know what I mean? Like there's ways we could go about it, but we at least have concrete information now for C. If that seems helpful.
I think so. It's one of these things where, like, I think that my idea for how A is going to go is mostly phonology based, I guess, at this point. And I did want to, I don't know, like, I think it's possible that we could get like a lot of the core ideas done. Well, the thing is, like, in my head, I'm like, oh, I can go quickly now. But I also know that you found last time very quick.
Well, so, wasn't it that it was the speed part wasn't what made it quick? It was more just that, like, it was really my first time. Like, I've seen a little bit, but it was my first time seeing this happen with any level of me actually following what is happening. You know what I mean?
The other thing I am thinking is that if you want to do the daughter at some point, now's probably, it may be the best time to do it now. If only because this is when we probably have the most memory of what we've done up to now. It probably would be good to like make a list of what the goals are.
Okay.
So if we're calling this daughter N.
Yeah.
I think that, like, before we do the Korean well, I think going for the Korean inspired one would be good in terms of having the world building there, and it would give us stuff to do once we get to this stage next.
Mhm.
I have been thinking that it would be good for you to get to a place where you can kind of I don't know. In my head, I'm thinking like, well, if I gave you a language with a much simpler phonology, you would have an easier time doing stuff with it. Because part of what's difficult with this is that we've now got like uvular consonants, and we've got these three like phonation distinctions, and we have so many clusters. And part of me is like, well, what if I fix all of this for you and then give you like something simple? But then I know that probably going from something where you probably don't have a strong opinion about what you like the sound of and what you don't is actually sometimes harder. Uh,
Mhm.
I've definitely in the past made like a proto language based on my ideas for this, for what I want the end to be, and
Mhm.
then realized that actually I like it too much as it is.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that like it's also, I think for your ability to do grammar stuff, working on an isolating language would be very helpful. But
Mhm.
I also know that like it's actually you're not, I don't know if interested is the right word to say you're not interested in doing grammar stuff, because I feel like all the stuff that I've seen you do up to this point with uh Osmalau, if I'm remembering how we
Yeah.
I did, um, suggests that like actually you are interested in grammar. I think you probably just find the conlanging side of it maybe more daunting.
Yeah, I think that's accurate to say, like, I do think it's interesting, and I do think it's interesting in the concept of or in the context of a system, right? Like, all the general things out there are definitely a bit overwhelming and daunting to me, but, like, doing it within Osmala where we could kind of, like we had like, I had very specific goals of what I was trying to accomplish with that, and it was really fun playing with, like, the ways to do that and, like, getting into, like, the puzzly aspect of it, and, like, I do find it interesting to learn, so I don't think I am on principle against any level of doing grammar. I guess I do like the idea of having an idea of how I would use it, or if we're doing it for one of these, having it be more of a, like, either this is to learn more about doing it, or this is because I might want a language in here that is a lot more developed, and so
Mhm.
this would be a one that's more well developed. Like, I think those are all valid purposes. I just don't necessarily want to for every single one of these. I think it would be I don't wanna say a waste of time because, like, it would be good learning
Mhm.
and, like, practice, but they definitely probably won't all need that when mostly they'll be used as naming languages.
Mhm. I think it's partly for me that there is a kind of there is a relationship between what you do with verbs and what you do with nouns.
Mhm.
That it's not that every language expresses every concept with the same things. I mean, no one says that. But it's not like even if you broke down everything,
Mhm.
um, that like when we say like I want to eat in English, that the same grammatical concepts are not conveyed when you say that in Mandarin, for
Mhm.
example.
Yeah.
But um, like if you put more stuff like for the we have a name now, uh, Asdodiria.
Yeah.
So for as does Ilya, like we know that we have number and case on the noun, which means that, say, if you are thinking, where am I going to put information about how something is done, that's not on the verb, it's probably going to be on the noun. And yeah, David is David's birthday Eve.
Oh. Well, just
Yeah.
for you, David, I wore my Lang Time shirt because I totally knew that in advance, and that's why I wore it. Totes.
Yeah. I've been talking to Miles about what we should do on Let's Have a Booba tomorrow.
Ooh.
Although I don't know if we're gonna do anything. We'll have to see. If you have ideas of what you want, David, then let us know. Because we were kind of like we're in a kind of funny stage because I thought I was getting things tied up before I went away, and now I'm not going away, and so we're like, oh, we have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. A streamed musical performance is never gonna go well.
Oh my gosh.
If you want music, you'd be much better off asking Jonathan. Anyway, I feel like I've said so many things and now I've lost where I was. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of like I think like setting homework this early in the stream is probably unprecedented, but I kind of want you to decide what you want to do.
Okay.
Whether like, and let me know with enough warning so that if you want to do like training wheels, Lang, then I will take out the worst stuff, and I'm gonna ask you to read Jesse's book, like not from cover to cover, but like I'll set chapters and we can kind of work through the stages.
I am very excited for this.
I
Okay.
feel like this is so insane, but because Edgar did that stream with reading the Guarani grammar, and
Yeah.
now I don't know where the voting has gone on that, but me and Miles are going to read a grammar of a Oceanic language together, probably. And yeah, like I feel like doing a live Conlanging course. It's not where I thought we were going with this.
It could be cool though.
And it's funny because like I mean, I guess if you wanted to do like training language, there would be an option where I know have we talked about having there being another language that is used in the community that was transplanted at some point? I think I suggested at some point if you really didn't like how a word sounded, you could say that there was a dialectally used other word.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely a thing that could happen, especially if we assume that this island where all these people are coming from, there would be other languages present there, right? So, like, we could assume that one of the districts maybe had a larger population of people that spoke this other language or something, or like we have all these little migration bits, but I feel like that'd be easy to do.
If you wanted to, we could start kind of from scratch again. If that's what you want to do. And certainly it would mean that like I'm also conscious that like there's all of these like language projects happening kind of at the same time. Like, we're thinking about this Korean one. You've got your one
Mhm.
that you're doing with Bib, and
Mm.
there's this daughter. And I feel like with the daughter, I have an idea about what we would need to do to make it what we're looking for.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, um, but I need to like check with you that what you want from it is the same as what I would want from
Mhm.
it. Um, um,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like yeah, I mean, I feel like we could check that and, you know, once we had that, like, once we're getting into the individual ones, if we needed to, like, zhoosh them in one direction or another, like, you
mhm,
know, I don't think coming up with A will necessarily like, the initial A will necessarily be the most, like, nothing can then ever change.
mhm.
Yeah, George, that would be cool. So the things I need to consider, right? So we could move
Let's
on
write this
to
down somewhere.
yeah,
This is the ultimate problem
yeah,
with these, because you end up with like very big ideas that don't end up um, surviving a night's sleep.
yeah.
And
But so doing N, so N, which I assume when we do N, will we do that the same time as like moving M forward a little bit, or would we like go back some of the sound changes of M and then go in a different direction for N?
honestly, you could do either. I would say, considering the timing, it may be easiest to say um like I think that like consolidating the language at M and
Mm,
saying this is where it splits in like is probably the easiest way to do it. If only because like you already have, I mean, it's not very big, but you already have the start of like a lexicon
mm,
that covers kind of how words sound and work and stuff.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, um, that's uh, that's what I would say about that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So then, yeah, then making the daughters of them is one option.
mhm.
So then the other option, we would, if we did what did you call it, like an isolating one? Would
Yeah,
that be with
like a training language.
yeah, isolating training language, potentially with the, uh, book and homework?
Yeah, like I think that like if if we did the Korean one now, I think
Mm,
it would probably be quite similar to how this one went,
mm,
because like unless like I really don't want to do like an analysis of Korean phonology on here, because I
no.
just feel like it would be uh questionably received. Like I'm not really the right person to do that.
Mhm,
But what I could say is like I would try and like I think that making this isolating could be like making the Korean one isolating would be interesting. I
okay.
do think from like a practical, not practical, on a cultural level, the thing I would be worried about is that it would basically end up looking very much like what if Korean lost every Korean word and it was all like Sino-Korean.
Mm.
Like so but Sino, if I say Sino-Korean, I don't know how many people are gonna follow. So Korean has like a bunch of words that are either like, it's divided generally into broadly speaking, sharpest I've ever into so native Korean words, which are basically exclusive to Korean.
Mm.
And then you have a vocabulary that is derived from. See, this is why I'm explaining this, because I'm not talking about Sino-Tibetan. And then Sino-Korean words were loan words that happened about the Han Dynasty mostly.
Mm-hmm.
In northeast China, northern Korea, like there was population overlap.
Mm-hmm.
And so like if you the more Korean you learn, the more of it is Sino-Korean. And so Korean actually has this quite isolating vocabulary that you then put your case markers onto the end of.
Mm-hmm.
And so in terms of like moving the language in a certain direction, I guess it's like with the Italian one, Italian is fusional and the language we've made is fusional, but we've made it fusional in a way that is very much not what Italian does now.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think like what the most creative way to make a language that sounds kind of like Korean is. And I don't really want to do polysynthetic because I think that it will be hard. But I'm kind of worried that maybe trying to do polysynthetic is going to be the way to make it the least, because we've already decided that it's verb final, which
Mm.
is what Korean does. So the word order is the same at this point.
Mm.
And I mean, it really depends on how the sound changes go, how likely it is to go in this direction. But
Mm.
that
I'm not against the idea. I mean, I've done a somewhat polysynthetic language with Osmalao, and it would be interesting for me to see another one because I did that very much. Like, I did watch the one video series on polysynthetic languages that I like sort of comprehended like a third of it
is that the
or a
one that
tenth of it.
Lycan did.
Yeah, yeah. But I definitely didn't fully follow all of that. So it could be interesting for me to see, like, actually in practice, see a different take on polysynthetic languages. I'm not against the concept, right? Like, but
Mhm.
I will say, so in terms of timing and ordering, which might fashion into how we'd want to do this a little bit, the book, assuming nothing changes with my schedule,
Mhm.
this year is almost exclusively working on the Wells of History duology, and then I'll start working on the Potion trilogy, which is the one with like the Osmalao and Aneradat, whatever. The like other language that's like the people
Mhm.
there speak. The two I did for Lexember.
Yeah.
I'll be there for like a year or two, but in there I'd start working on the first one that would be in Pillar World. So I'm like
Mhm.
maybe 3 years out from. That's a ton of time. actually. I don't that's really
Considering
not
how this one went, I'm not super worried.
No, that's I started saying it, I'm like, "Wait, what am I talking about?"
Oh, night, Nemo.
No. Yeah, so long story short is I think we're fine regardless. Yeah. Okay, okay. So, yeah, so our ideas and that's regardless of whether or not we made well,
We have enough time. Like, I I think that certainly for like your first like diachronically developed language, I wouldn't expect for you to do loads of sound changes, which is kind of why I think part of it would be that I would do a bit of work first,
mhm,
so that if you if like I don't know, like if you want it to be within this family, which I think like what I hear from George is that he would be like not he doesn't seem to be super on board with the idea of having another language family that's like not related just shoved into this original thing. Like
yeah,
so if I make like a starting point, then you can always just follow on from that. But it does mean that if you want to like go back to an original word, I mean, I could fill the dictionary for you with what you want to like find. But as soon as you start making more roots, like I can just give you a Lexicon file, which will help.
yeah,
Um, but like it's gonna be interesting, I guess. Compared to like if you do something that's completely unrelated, then you can just start somewhere that is a little bit less. I feel like you always say psycho bananas.
I do say that a lot. Psycho bananas, yeah. A little bit less psycho
Um,
bananas.
like I don't think I think that what I suggested was based on like this idea of these two branches, and now there's all of these branches of just kind of like um
Yeah, it is Michelle,
yeah.
it is indeed. Also, hello, Kiara.
Okay. We chatted for half an hour and now I'm not sure.
Well, I have my homework assignment already, to decide between, I guess, and then also decide between, Korean-esque polysynthetic, question mark,
Mhm.
isolating, question mark?
Mhm.
'Cause these are kind of our options next, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think like it would be
Mm.
I like this. When it's Jesse's book, it's called Gnome Work.
Mm.
The the isolate would have traveled with the people. Ah, okay.
Mm, mhm. Yeah, it would just be there's another little thing off to the side here that maybe ends up in a few, like,
Mhm.
I don't know, right? That'd be kind of the
It would be kind of like I think Nemo said it, like it would be the equivalent of basically having
Mm.
a so Beaks there's a bunch of linguists that say like very questionable things, and Beaks is one of them where he basically is like loads of these Greek words shouldn't be um oh yeah, the context is intended, George. It's kind of like um I don't know. I guess the thing that would be weird is that it would be, why would this evolve in isolation from the other stuff?
It could be a language of refugees from the killer fog that arrived just before they disappeared through the portal shenanigans. Like
I guess,
we can make it work.
yeah, you could make it work. I'm glad we have the storyteller to fix these things.
Yeah. It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
because yeah, these like portals.
That makes sense. But I mean, I feel like the statistics are a little bit different in a world being eaten by fog, you know? You never
I
know.
mean, I don't think that David is being 100% serious.
No. Yeah.
Um, yeah.
So, what if today we start with working on we could make some more words in the Italianate lexicon / do some consolidation of
I think like working out, we had some goals for this one.
for which one? The Korean
So
S? Oh, this one. Yeah, yeah.
for the daughter, it was compound cases.
Mhm.
This actually is making me think that maybe you would want to oh, okay. No, I see. No, I see how this would work. Although it's not, I don't, I feel like that's not how what I think of immediately when I think of compound cases, but you basically would be that like this word would be more fused and this word would be more fused, and then these get fused again
Mm, okay.
with the ending blending with this bit. That would
Okay.
be, that would work fine, I think.
Okay.
Although it would be more like this. It would be, because also we don't have a standard genitive ending.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
Is that something that can become more standardized? Like, if we wanted something to, like, distinguish that a little bit in one of the,
yeah.
like where they're like,
So
this is nonsense, let's not."
this happened in English quite a lot.
Mm,
I mean, obviously not to a complete stop, but if you think about, if I tell you how do you make a plural in English, what would you tell me?
I mean, the first thing is you stick an S on the end,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of other ways to do it.
So that's kind of, we're in a middle stage, right?
Mm,
So the most commonly used words are the ones that are most likely to have retained these irregular plurals. But then we have a regular plural that you can then like extend. So like you could imagine that like in a long time, perhaps we only use the S plural.
mhm. Right.
Um,
So it could be cool in N to have it move in the direction of standardizing some of the case
mhm.
shenanigans, and maybe doing something different with the plurals. Like, we keep the plurals mostly the same for M, like the MM, And then we do something with N where, yeah, we simplify that kind of stuff a little bit, and then maybe find a little bit something else to add a little bit of shenanigans if we want.
The people who leave are less enamored with numerology.
Yeah, they're like, who cares? Like,
who cares about there being 5 of these things?
yeah, yeah.
Because again, certainly like there is a bunch of languages that had a dual. That's just how I say the word. I mean dual is in 2 of something, not as in they have a fight. You know what I mean?
That could be the shenanigans. Maybe they're a heavy
need,
dueling culture.
I need people at home to realize that that's how I say things.
It's okay. It's okay.
Like I realized when you were talking about your 2-book series that if I say duology, it's not as obvious what the studies are.
Yeah.
So we can simplify the numbers a lot. We'd also like I think it would help with like how would I say this? I think that the numbers at the moment are also causing some of the variation at the start of the word, right? So I think that if you simplify that to just singular plural, I think that you would have like a much easier time with it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably very true.
I think with the one that we're keeping, I know we had this idea that like each case was just going to be associated with a vowel. And so, but at the moment we don't really do that. So
Need to figure out the right terminology there. Like churn replacement. Chaos is what happens.
This is what happens when you have loads of the same people and then random other people in these streams. Because like, not that we all know what's going on in George's life, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but and future could try to create more of those vowel associations. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Find a way to like. I think that like some of the, I guess there's ways of doing it where maybe we can keep some of the stuff we like and ditch the bits we don't. So I'm thinking like the Z ending, we could keep the Z when it's a long Z, but when it's a single Z, we chop it, and then we can chop the long Z down, and then it's going to be great.
I like that.
I feel like that was quite a Trumpian hand gesture now. I feel like it's really ruined a lot of things for me.
Yeah.
Apologies everyone at home. I'll try and be less, I don't know. I don't know what the other hand gestures would be. What can I do?
I don't know. There's always moose. David, no. Absolutely not.
But there's a 6-7 hand gesture.
I think there is.
I'm glad that like I don't interact with enough to like know these things.
It's horrendous. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. Awful. It's awful. It's a blight upon my life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ancient David. Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and they run around, they're like it's everywhere, and every time it comes up or they see those letters somewhere, they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "No, no, no." It's no. Oh
Okay.
wow. It's awful. We're supposed to be saying numbers are dumb and unimportant, people. Come on. Let's bold it for everyone in the back. Mm, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yes. I do like the idea of that because I feel like I definitely did not understand the consequences of my actions with the case and plural system. So,
Mhm.
which I feel like I'm going to be doing that a lot, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think I cringed when you decided you wanted to do it, but we did it, and now you see why I cringed. So I think like we've all learned in this experience
Yes. Yes. Now
what
I know that I like see Jake cringing and trying not to say anything to lock on and be like, "Hold on there, Jake.
hold
What am
on
I doing to us?"
thing. Yeah. Yeah, not knowing the yeah, as George says, not knowing the consequences is very normal.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if we did for MV like I don't want to just undo it, right? Cuz I'm too stubborn for that. But I wouldn't mind if we found some ways to make it slightly more palatable for
Yeah.
M future.
Mhm.
Make
I don't
Maddie's mistakes more
it's
palatable.
I don't know if it's true that languages tend towards being analytic.
Well, he said most of
Um,
my languages. My being
mhm.
Kyle's languages.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
No, very important context. Yeah.
Yeah, I do
Um,
feel like one of the next ones we do, I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, totes analytic."
but like analytic and isolating go well together.
That's true. That's true. There we go.
Well, I think it's very hard to do isolating and not have it be analytic. They
Mm,
are slightly different things.
mhm.
So uh, do I talk about morphemes knowing David's watching? Probably not. Um, so I'm going to talk about units instead and roots and affixes. So for an isolate, like analytic just means that there's like a fairly one-to-one ratio between
Mhm.
um, kind of whether you have morphemes.
That could be the code. You don't have to say morpheme
Morphemes.
and catch David's attention and just do that.
It's only useful in this specific context where you're trying to describe this and you want a word that covers these two things that you're trying to distinguish in some languages, but also find a word that means all the things. And yeah,
Could you just use wordy bits?
I guess so. I guess. What even?
Yes.
Okay. Um. More. Uh. More. Basically, like, it's trying to equate like the a gram.
Hmm.
Interesting. Which also works with the scales. I'm having too much fun with this because I don't have people in my life to annoy me with it. Um,
Oh.
um, okay, so it's basically like the morpheme slash morph slash gram
Mm,
is trying to equate that in a word like pigs,
mm,
that the S bit and the pig bit are
mm,
like the same. It's like saying they're the same kind of thing.
mm,
Um, with English, it's really like it's probably a terrible example because these S things on the ends of words in English are so they mean so many things because it's the same whether you're saying like pigs. And also with pigs, it's like, well, pig's food, is it like the food of the of a one pig? Is it the food of multiple pigs? And like we fucking just moved the apostrophe, and then and then like you could you could say that like it's all these different things. But anyway,
mm.
um, what's a better one that you would know? That's the real question. That's where I'm like,
A better one that I would know of, like, for morpheme
like an
example?
example that I can use that like it has like very one specific meaning and it doesn't mean anything else. So um I feel like I swear a lot on the top group. Maybe less comparative to Miles, a lot less.
Wow, that's fair.
Um it's just like the way that English works still confuses me because I never properly studied it. Like and if people study linguistics in English, you get loads of English examples, but I studied it in Spanish. So I know the Spanish examples.
Well, give me a
Like,
Spanish example.
oh, Spanish is also very fusional.
Uh,
So like untrustworthy, it's like okay, but then like the E in worthy and the E in like doggy, like I guess it depends whether the doggy is a small dog or you're talking about doggy in the sense of like a doggy bag. And like the whole thing is just ugh. So I'm just like having a freaking out because European languages are annoying.
fair.
So um, for some words in Korean, you can make the plural by adding tul onto it. So like a friend in general or friends, if you're not having to specify the plural, this is where it gets really annoying because you're like, and like, well, 친구, like, 제 친구 can mean both my friend and also my friends, depending on the context, which gets very annoying. But tul only means plural on a basic level. Uh, so um, it's like that bit of meaning is like exclusive to this thing. I am so bad at explaining this stuff sometimes. It's very funny to me that I'm the one.
I mean, I'm pretty familiar with the concept of morphemes. I'm mostly just like enjoying this.
Okay. But you understand how the isolating and analytic are different.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Yeah. I did have to
Wait.
look into that a bit for the Osmalau.
Okay. Because I think that I really love Vietnamese, and Vietnamese is like spoken Vietnamese is one of the most strongly analytic isolating language languages there are, as far as I'm aware. So it's very much something I am bound to do. So yeah.
That could be fun.
You could have put me out of my misery much early. It feels like playing Taboo. Like
Yeah.
and now I've got people thinking about pig food.
I mean, I feel like that's a positive thing, Jake, not a negative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why don't we think about pig food more?
I don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, we've got what, an hour and 10 minutes left. I still have no clue what we're doing.
I mean,
we
can
decided
just
between last week and this week. I think that's what we were saying.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes things don't happen, and sometimes you just gotta yap, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we can put off the decision and just make more Italianate lexicon words.
I feel like as we go through this, we're gonna find issues. So let's just keep going and work
Okay.
out what horrible things are gonna happen.
Okay.
So I say I don't know what sort of mood you're in terms of what you want to. We can't do verbs, obviously. Um, so we have mother and father, Momo and Bubu.
My big list here. Our big list here is a hot mess. Here we go.
Well,
okay, so we have some basic terms.
Yeah.
That could be a fun place to start. I don't know what
How
this
much
is.
do you know about the linguistics of kinship?
So I have watched a number of videos on kinship in terms of like different types of structures and the way like not necessarily from a linguistical perspective, but from a cultural perspective of like all the different like examples from different places around in the world and different patterns you see and different trends and how that affects like like having different names for like your you could have different words for like your mother's siblings or sisters versus your father's sisters, or like they could all have like similar names depending on where the emphasis is. And like I have that level of general understanding, but not specifically linguistical. Linguistic?
It could be an interesting one, although it also involves more like stupid terms with stupid reasons for them, and like trying to make very big generalizations without knowing every detail, which annoys me because I want to know all the things.
Fair.
Okay, I've done Momo. So,
Okay.
I'm like on screen. Oh, no. Sorry. Okay. I think it will be similar to Google, except without. It should have less changing. Okay, so the stem is still momo, and then it's momo, momozi, momoda, momua. No, momua. I think. Yeah. And now we have two mothers. Tusi momo, grul momo, nam momo, som momo. Lovely. It was less horrible than I thought it was going to be. Well, I didn't think it was going to be that bad.
Yeah.
Okay. See, not that hard.
No.
And father was boo boo. Oh, I didn't do the plural, which is going to be momomo.
I added that one in, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Mo.
Oh,
which is just fun.
momomo.
Yep.
I mean, the other thing would be, it seems there must be examples in other languages where you have a root that already looks reduplicated and then they add a reduplicating grammatical form on. It must exist. I don't know what usually happens.
I don't know.
Okay. And then, because this one is going to do stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do we have a B word yet? No, we don't.
We get a whole new section. Look at us go. Oh, we're almost super standard.
So, buvu, buvuzi, buvuda, buvua, tusivu. So this is where we go back to our little dots. Because the V is from the end of the word. And this is ooh.
Do reduplicated kinship terms resist? Well, it'd be for saying plurals, Tinglish. So I don't like it wouldn't be like what like a baby wouldn't say it, right?
No, it's an interesting question. I think that I do think that there is something in more so like at the moment we've like this means mother and father. If we had like some sound changes that was gonna make like mama and dada, it's partly because they are words that are imitative of the sounds that children make. which is why I think they tend to be more regular cross-linguistically, because in terms of the form, like this reduplicated CV, especially with the M for mum, like it's not just that it's like there is a compelling reason for these to stay like in that certain pattern. I mean, obviously, like it's not always like that. Like in English, are mum and dad, like they come from the Celtic languages, and obviously they've lost some of the vowels. So yeah, the example in English is more complicated because of this like
I do think that's interesting.
yeah, it would be easier to do usually formal words being archaic is more likely to be because there was some kind of prestige associated with them, rather than like rather than like formal words resisting. There is an extent to which it is true, but usually it's that like you're trying to keep it to a certain style intentionally. So although again, with there are a bunch of like Buddhist texts in China that at this point are effectively don't mean anything in the syllables you say, because they were transcribed in order to sound like the Sanskrit, and then the sound changes have happened. And because there wasn't a reference to the Sanskrit they were translated or transcribed from, they're basically just semi-random syllables. Yeah. Do you want to like keep finding words we've already got, or do you want to do like a 55-minute kinship brain thought?
I'm good either way. Like, I'm good to just try and like fill up. Like, we can even generate some more like of the proto words and then move them over. We can do that. I'm also happy to talk kinship. Like, that also sounds fun to me. Both sound fun. Is it Little Biscuit?
Do you want to do a YouTube thing?
A YouTube thing?
Well, usually when me and Miles can't decide something, I just like make a YouTube poll and be like, tell us what to do, and then people tell us what to do.
I mean, we can do that. We can make a poll. I can do that. We're doing it. I'm doing it.
I am I'm gonna have it's not a copy car. I'm having a Polish marzipan thing. Marzipanki.
Okay. I will request a biscuit from the husband. We'll see if he just happens to see it and brings me one. Okay. Okay. I totally know how to do this. YouTube's no. Okay. This might make noise temporarily. This might temporarily make noise. Because I have to like open it up, right? Yeah, okay. Plug your ears. Oh wait, I can mute myself.
Now I can say whatever I want.
I can still hear you.
Oh.
Okay. Start a poll. So kinship or all the words.
Top of the lungs to you, David. I'm gonna get in trouble with the Irish before I go. It's gonna happen.
probably. Okay. We'll see. We'll see if that works out. Windship.
You know, I started trying to do some like general research for the sort of topic that I'm interested in doing for my Lexicon presentation.
Oh my god. You can keep talking. I'm just listening for biscuits.
It reminds me of like if you're trying to catch a mouse that you spotted out of the corner of your eye. You're like, listen for the biscuits.
That's exactly what's happening. To a T.
Okay. I would be honored to be slapped by Edgar. It would be quite iconic.
Yeah.
I feel like people would know me for that. I don't think people really care what I do at the moment. But if I was the person who Edgar slapped, I would be in and go down in history. Stunning.
It's a proper.
You've not been the bit of the UK that has big red buses, have you?
No. But these are like brought over from Scotland. So like they're close to UK. They are UK biscuits. That is the UK.
I looked this up. The distance between where, well, no, you're much further. The distance between where Jonathan is and Montreal is about the same as the distance between where I am and Edinburgh. It just takes so much longer to get between them.
I find the concept of a double-decker bus terrifying.
You know that. No, we don't need to have this conversation again. Not after the American flag mega guns situation. It was like. Wait, so George, have you been to Northern Ireland but not other parts of the UK?
I've also never been on a double-decker train. Okay.
I know that like it's very typical that people from outside of London, like further than I am, are like very much like, oh, why does everyone love London? Like, but like, I love London. I'm like, why does no one want to? Like, I know people do want to come here, but like, London's just like, yeah. Although at the same time, I'm like, maybe I never want to live there again. Like,
yeah, I do want to go at some point. It'll be fun. I can deal with like some city days, you know.
I find the idea of like church mission trips to Northern Ireland very interesting because I think that from a English perspective, we're like, well, if they were both less religious, then the situation would be much easier for everyone. Brighton is, it wouldn't be a bad option. I've had some people suggest it to me. It's just like it's all either like super alternative or super upper middle class, and I probably would find my people if I went there, but it's also like, I don't know. it there's also like a very funny kind of not rivalry, but like when you're in like a British seaside town that's doing less well, you end up kind of feeling like um I don't know, like you kind of I'm not ashamed of Southend being worse than Brighton. Uh it's it's just kind of like, oh, everyone loves Brighton, no one loves us, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like as, as someone who's like close to being Presbyterian, although not really, I have more to my church has more to blame in the Northern Irish context because
Mm.
it's the majority of the Scottish uh, people descended from the Ulster Scots will have been Presbyterian,
Mm.
um, but they don't really get along with us main. I'm like mainlanders. Are we mainland? No. Um, anyway, what's the YouTube poll saying?
Kinship by a landslide.
Okay, let's talk about kinship then.
Let's do it.
So, well, I guess it's. Do you? I guess like for one thing would be like actually probably the proto language is where a lot of this kinship stuff. Oh,
I assume you can hear that.
yeah.
Is she downstairs or upstairs? Is Daddy with you? Do you need me? I'll be right back.
Okay, I'm gonna have a rant about Devon. Devon is not where it's at. Like that bit of the UK, the like Cornwall, Devon area. No, not for me. I don't need that kind of. I don't know. Like it's so feels so touristy whenever I've been, and it like so many people have second homes there, so it's quite a weird experience going and visiting. Um, like I would basically choose. I don't know. I'm also just not like a seaside person. Like uh, although having said that, I used to find it very difficult walking in like the like I really don't like. I mean, I know people don't love the smell of farm animals. I'm like, you say otter and butterfly sanctuary, and I tell you we have a butterfly sanctuary. Well, I feel like it's not really a sanctuary. We have a butterfly visiting center in the South End area, and it's fine. And I went multiple times as a child for birthdays and things, and had butterflies land on me. And yeah, um, we have Lee at home. um, yeah. I'm glad the otters romp around. Um, I've run out of things to say. Um, we have an old timey steam train place here as well. It was recently saved by someone who made a lot of money in London and then realized that his favorite childhood steam train place was going to be shut down, and so he reopened it. And I used to go at Christmas time, and there would be a Santa's grotto there, and they'd give you like a Cadbury's selection box. And I have very fond memories of. You say 95%, David. We know it's smaller than that.
Hello.
Hello.
Otter and Butterfly Sanctuary. Wow.
Grotto. Santa's grotto, not Santa's brothel.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what I missed.
I had a rant about why Devon's actually not as great as David saying it is.
Very fair. Very fair. Okay. My child is fine. She just had a boo-boo and was quite distressed that she had a very, very minor boo-boo that you can't even see. It's fine. So,
It's fine.
crash course kinship terms.
I mean, I'm basically gonna ask you like a few questions, and then we'll work out what we're doing. So
Perfect.
there's like I don't want to. It's one of these weird things where it's like, what comes first, the distinction in the words, or the distinction in society, right?
Mm.
So I think it may be more societal to begin with. So there's kind of, I want to say there's 6. There might be 7. And it's basically, there's like 6 basic patterns. I think the 7th one that people argue about is in Dravidian languages.
Mm.
If this image can just be copied and pasted, then I'm just going to copy and paste it. Here we go. Okay. So you have Hawaiian kinship that's basically everyone on your generation is your sister or brother. Everyone on your parents' generation is your mother or father. And it goes up as well. So everyone on your grandparents' generation is your grandfather and grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And also, not all kinship terms are. Actually, I was going to say not all of them are gendered, but actually, I'm struggling to think of an example. I mean, in Korean, there's some cases, I think. Or Vietnamese, for example. Vietnamese, I remember all the words, so that will be easier. So your older siblings are distinguished by gender. So you have your chị is your older sister, and your anh is your older brother. But your younger siblings are em, whether they are male or female or other. I don't know what pronouns. That there is a generic pronoun that you can use to refer to people who are on the same level as you, which is ban. That also just means friend. There isn't, like, Vietnamese doesn't have a lot of gender, but you end up seeing gender a lot because you use kinship terms a lot. So then you have Sudanese. This is also close. It's close to what you get in Mandarin and other Chinese languages, except if this was Mandarin, you would have, first of all, like, it looks like from this diagram that it's because they're using English terms to approximate, but they haven't given different colors to your female cousins and male cousins.
Mhm.
But in Mandarin, you would have to know their gender and also whether they are older or younger than you.
Mhm. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can see that like you have different words for each kind of relation to you. That's the
Mhm.
key thing. Um, whereas if you go underneath, so I'm going to call this Inuit kinship because we don't use the other word anymore.
Yeah.
Learning moment for everyone at home. Uh, so Inuit kinship is basically you say that you care about your main lineage. So you also have specific words for your grandmother and your grandfather, but they are the same. I feel like having another layer up does help because one of the differences between these is that for Sudanese kinship, your maternal grandparents and your paternal grandparents would be different.
Mhm.
Whereas in Inuit kinship, they are the same, I think, in
Okay.
general. And the other thing is this is all in general because um, like from what I remember, Korean has some of these Sudanese style differences in terms of you have different words for your paternal uncles and maternal uncles. But actually, I think that for cousins, the word is all the same.
Mm.
And so these are kind of like typologically, these are the models that are most regular.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can, like, for example, with Korean kinship, it's going to be influenced by how kinship works in Chinese languages and also the fact that in their culture, they then develop this kind of hierarchy through Confucian influence, which comes with the Chinese influence. That means that like seniority becomes more important, and so it's useful to refer to who your senior paternal uncle is
Mhm.
in Korean.
Right.
Um, so I think that Crow and Omaha are a little bit. Oh, and there's Iroquois. Now these three are. I don't know if they are strictly rarer. I don't remember what the average um, how usually these come up, but um, you can see that I think one is considered matrilineal.
Mhm.
So I think it's the crow one, or is this patrilineal? Um, no, this is. I think the crow is patrilineal because basically, if your father and your uncle on your father's side have kids, they are still your siblings because you're
Mhm.
from the same patriline because you share a grandfather on your
Mhm.
father's side. But I guess people would share a grandfather on the other side, but
Yeah.
it basically it stops at the mother, and your aunt is called aunt because your aunt shares that grandfather as well. And so the women who aren't you end up with like a split between these kind of directly related women and indirectly related women. And then on your mum's side, if your mother, it's like a parallelism. So if your mother's a mother, that there will be people who are much better at explaining this than me. Again, and I feel like I've did I mix these up? I think I've mixed these up. The Iroquois one is the one where the matching is super important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see your uncle on your mother's brother is different, and your
Mm.
father's sister is different, but your mother's mother is the same, and your father's father is the same.
Yeah, yeah.
So that kind of, again, it's mirrored on both sides.
Mm.
The Crow and Omaha ones care a lot more about descent, and unless I feel like what I would just say is I would feel if you wanted to do like a complicated descent based one, I would support you on that and I would work out how to make it work. But I doubt that you are all that enthusiastic about doing it. And I'll see how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think I lean less towards doing something super complicated with descent, and I think that'll just like, I know that there's nothing to discredit or to make that less likely given that most of the societies that I'm gonna have in this world are going to be a lot less, like, centralized, like, that has nothing to do with whether it would make sense to do this type of thing, but I don't know. It does feel because 'cause I'm doing a little bit more of this sort of thing in the potion world, where
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a little bit more into the descent thing and having more complicated kinship. Um, so I lean towards something that's, like, less descent based. Like, I don't know. I feel like it fits the going with something a little simpler.
Well,
Simpler might be a bad
there is
word for it.
I don't know how much this has been looked into, but you it's also just kinship when you add in all of the lived experience stuff gets messier and messier.
Mm,
So like do you know about milk kinship in the Arab world?
um, vaguely. I have some general awareness of, although I wouldn't say, like, familiarity.
Okay. Because you may not be directly related to someone, but so if you are like people would have wet nurses,
Mm, mm,
or if there would be like a woman who is producing milk, they may feed someone else's child, but in
mm.
doing so you become siblings culturally with the
Right.
other people who have shared the same milk. So it's not strictly by blood, but by other factors,
Mm,
which means that you can't marry them. And
mm,
so if you have a particularly good wet nurse who um, basically feeds a lot of people your age, people can end up feeling disadvantaged when they come to date because typically what this is marking is you like for some societies you're okay to marry your cousins but not your siblings, and that's what these distinctions are indicating.
mhm. Yeah.
uh, Whereas obviously if you're in a Hawaiian system, then obviously the fact that you call everyone in your generation that you're related to, I mean, I don't know about outside as well because this kind of gets extended, but
Mm,
like um you can imagine a society in which you call everyone, I mean, like in Vietnam, so you would refer to like people who you know as your brother or your sister. And actually, this happens in married couples will still use these terms with each other, right?
Mm.
Um, Certainly, there are different pronouns that you can use. But I remember hearing it was particularly with a lesbian couple, um, where they never stopped using um, T and M because that relationship was made more sense to them in their speech than shifting to having one of them, probably the older one. No, I think they both would have to have changed pronouns, which trying to talk about this with some people would be very weird. Um, but to have them adopt the pronouns that are associated with heterosexual couples would basically for them be it would be more confusing with their genders than
Mm.
using these like what on a surface level introduced as introducing like kinship terms, but in practice are like much more widely used. And it's normal to refer to someone younger than you who you're dating as your younger sibling if
Yeah.
you're talking like to them or about them or that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not like in a creepy way. I want to specify.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like people talk about like their baby, and we know that they don't mean their literal baby.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, I
uh,
think that makes sense.
um, so yeah, I think like I think George said um, um, the types the types versus defining individual distinctions. I think the thing is like if you start making some kinds of distinctions, you can set a precedent based on these patterns for the other
Mm.
kinds of distinctions that you might make, is what I would say.
Mm-mm. Mm.
So if you start defining a difference between um, like uh, your maternal side and your paternal side, but you don't extend it down, which I guess is what Korean does, from what I remember.
Mm.
I might be wrong. I'm very fully prepared for someone to be like, "No, you don't know anything about Korean kinship terms," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I did know." Um, uh, but yeah, like the Chinese ones go very far,
Mhm.
especially because you have like the older and younger. Like if you want to say um, like some of them, then you can just like um, shove the two words together.
Yeah.
Yeah, is like George is saying, like uh, you have hope I get this right. 徐家, um, like, and I don't know the right way to. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, you can end up like doing stuff with them as well.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, and I'm sorry to hear about the unsolicited advice.
It's always a bit rough.
hmm
Um, so question before we make any decisions.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, because like obviously like we're talking about starting from the proto and coming up with words and yada yada yada. How much do you think this could change between different daughters, or would I expect to mostly like once I pick one type, since they're going to be mostly an isolate, in terms of like whatever they start from is mostly going to be the only exposure they have once they come here. Like it's not like they're going to encounter other people with other types of kinship structures. Like would I expect it to mostly be the same throughout all of these places, or potentially change in some?
So yeah, as George is saying, kinship can change quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that like modeling it is a weird one because like yeah, I don't know quite how the English kinship system used to work. Like Latin had a Sudanese style system,
Mm.
and it's actually one of the interesting things with the Romance languages is that the different words for different relationships ended up being the descendant languages have different words for brother, for example,
Okay.
based on like
Mm-hmm.
because like I like fratello in Italian is from fratellus, which I now don't remember. This is very helpful. People are just saying it meant brother.
Yeah.
I say people, I mean Wiktionary.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas hermano was from, and then it's like Germanus. No, that's not from what I thought it was. And then I'm like, frère, is frère related to frater? Yes, it is. Okay. I'm trying to remember. Okay, I've found the. Okay, those bits. It's the cousins one. It's the cousins one that got complicated because the cousins where it gets weird.
Okay.
Um. Um. So I'm not going to worry about explaining it. Basically,
Yeah.
what I remember, like you get some of the kinship terms in Romance languages look quite different, and it's because they are from different bits of the Latin system.
Right.
From what I remember.
So, do we have any reason to think that it would be more or less likely to gain or lose distinctions over time, or is there really not a correlation? Okay.
Like we think that people lost distinctions going from Latin. I think in Mandarin, people gained distinctions, as far as I'm aware, or at least like quite a few of the words that are for some of these more specific relationships.
Yeah.
Like they seem to have come from other languages. Like if you have like one word for brother, and then you start having another word for brother introduced, and then they become used typically for a gap, or like in the Korean one, the oldest one is just referred to as like your big uncle.
Yeah.
But if you end up like losing the meaning of it through sound changes, then it could just be that all of your father's side end up gaining the distinction of being big because they are on the, or I think you also see in Vietnamese the maternal side gets a kind of prefix. It's not really a prefix, but a descriptor of being outside.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that I don't have to choose this based off what I necessarily want any of the final ones to be, which is good. I have flexibility there.
Yeah.
I do think it'd be cool to have some of the ones with, like, for example, the one that, like, the archipelago one we've mapped out where there's a decent bit of distinction in the people that are on different pillars and there's going to be like clan associations with them. Like, it could make sense to have some sort of kinship being tied to, like, having a system where, like, what pillar you're from could be interesting. Like,
have you read much about how kinship works in Australia?
no.
Okay. And I don't mean with the whiteys. So it gets quite complicated quite quickly.
Mm.
And again, it's one of these things where I'm like, so the moiety page isn't very helpful. Okay. So I'm trying to work out like what the easiest way to explain this is. Like it may just be like shoving a Wikipedia page on screen and talking about it.
I mean, that
That's
would work.
all right with you?
Yeah. I was trying to see if it's okay. No, because I have like one book on like Aboriginal Australia cultures, but I don't think it has anything that would cover that.
Okay, I've sent you a link. I guess I could have just put it on to present here. I'll do that.
Okay, yeah. And then we could just swap.
Yeah.
Boop, boop.
Okay. So you have like quite a lot of variety. So you can see there's groups with, I'll zoom in a bit as well.
Mm.
You have groups with 2 systems, ones with 8 and ones with 4. So the moieties, obviously in this one, they are on a higher level
Mm.
than the clan level.
Mm.
But basically, like you can end up with terms that you refer to whether someone is in one moiety or the other.
Mm.
And then you have so if you have a 4 system, then what happens is that the you can see that like you have if you're from one moiety, then you have to marry from a different one.
Mm.
So if you're Karimara, sorry, no, it would be Karimara. Then you
Okay.
marry a Panaka and your child is a Palyari. And then if the child is male, the Palyari man marries a Purungu woman who is Panaka, and then so on and so forth, right?
Mm.
I'm not saying I probably wouldn't. I don't know actually how. There are other societies with moieties. In the Amazon, it's particularly it's not quite the same as this, because the difference is that like all these moieties are within like a language group.
Mhm.
Although I could imagine that there might be, well, no, not by moiety, but anyway, in the Amazon, what happens is that these groups actually are ethno-linguistic groups as well.
Mhm.
Although calling them ethnic groups might actually not be super accurate. But so in like the Rio Negro region,
Mhm.
people have to marry outside of their linguistic group. But I guess it's the difference is that their children are, they belong to the ethnicity of their father.
Okay.
So if you're Tukana and you marry a no, I have to think of a nearby one. Like, let's go with Nadeb, even though I don't think they're that close. And you marry a Nadeb woman, then their child is still Tukana, but the child would grow up bilingual,
Mhm.
and that's part of how they understand their descendancy is based on the languages they speak.
Ooh.
But it's interesting because the because your ethnicity is so tied to your language,
Mhm.
they have very strong cultural rejection of mixing languages.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because effectively, if you start mixing your language with a neighbor's language, you blur the kinship boundaries,
Mhm.
which would mean that if they're the same, then you're suddenly committing incest, basically, because
Yeah.
you're marrying within your group.
Mhm.
Although I don't think that kind of system with two languages would really work with this, because you would run out very quickly.
No, but, like, doing that between, like, having cultural groups or, like, different distinctions from people between certain, like, pillars or clusters of pillars would probably make a lot of sense, especially given that if you're stuck on a relatively small pillar, like, there'll be inbreeding problems at some
Yeah,
point, you know?
you develop cultural strategies to. I mean, they might not understand it the same way,
Mm,
especially because if these people have been on these pillars for 10,000 years, they're going to be more. At some point, you're related to everyone.
right,
If you're in a very small community, it
yeah,
certainly would probably encourage the push to expand, though. Um,
yeah, and if we assume that, like, because like, the migrations would have happened where, like, when you get some of this, like, mixing in some of these places at least, that would have happened after a decent amount of time, so, like, yeah, it would have to be some kind of system that wouldn't, like that's why I'm like, the idea of, like, which pillar they're born on could be interesting, because then you don't have where they'd keep all feeding into the same groups,
mhm,
potentially. I don't know, but, like, it would be cool, like, I definitely wanna play with some of that kinda stuff in the resulting, cultures and languages as we, like, leave the seed group, you know? I think that would be a lot of fun. Um,
yeah, the diagrams just get more and more complicated.
mhm,
Um, but I think this one is more so because no, there's effectively 8 groups, but they're also split by gender.
mhm,
So there's nominally 16.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. This is something in this general vein is definitely
mhm,
gonna happen somewhere. It would just make sense, you know?
mhm. So yeah.
Back to this one. Okay.
That's moiety.
Yeah. Actually. So I do want to add a note. Not in the next section. Kinship. Some hoops. Type. I don't know, relationships is the wrong word, but we'll just write that. Just a note.
I think relationship isn't a bad way to express it.
Okay.
It's the way that people understand how they're related to each other.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have that note. And then what if from the seed people, it is really a weird term for them.
I mean, I think that the seeding, it's partly because like it's all the similar sorts of metaphors for similar sorts of events is what I will say. Like I don't think that there would be a different word you could use that isn't going to be less like slightly seminal.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the proto culture.
Yes. I think I lean towards going with like the Iroquois style kinship, that sort of vibe. I feel like that would keep some symmetry in there at the start where, like, I don't know. I mean, I know I could go either direction, but I like the idea of starting with something a bit more symmetrical. And I think that would be fun. Progenitor, that's a fun word. So if we did that, I wonder if I could. If I make a copy of this and crop it.
I mean, it's just from Wikipedia. You can probably, if you go Iroquois kinship, they'll have a
ta-da!
Yeah, there's a nice one. This one as well, which has the grandparents in.
Oh, that's more helpful. Okay, so we would want kinship terms, and we already have mother father, which I can copy over. So I guess there'd be. Let's see if I'm understanding this right. So there'd be brother, sister. Well, I guess it's just everything in that list, right? For the most part, would have a term. Brother, sister, cousin.
Well, you would have a word for yeah. The cousin, but in English, you'd have to specify cross.
Oh, versus parallel.
Well, parallel cousins don't have a word.
That's right.
Same as brother or sister.
Okay. Yeah. So cross cousin. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So with this one, you still keep your relatively strict generational hierarchy as well. But I think that's the thing that makes the other ones more complicated, is that like you end up with aunts and uncles on your generation.
Yeah.
And also, I think with this system, it would make sense that if you did want like one of the very complicated ones, you could develop it culturally and then create words for these relationships.
Yeah. Which I feel like I definitely do somewhere.
Mhm. So I would say for grandfather and grandmother, you could probably get away with having one of these reduplicated. Well, you could do reduplicated forms for all of these.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the Mandarin ones, you end up reduplicating, but lots of that's just because it's a way of making them kind of affectionate.
Mhm.
Um, um, and for example, like with ma, like you can, if you're talking about someone else's mum, you may not necessarily, as far as I'm aware, or this might just be in swearing, which is where I'm aware of it being used this way from. You may not always say mama. Uh, actually, I feel like if you're talking to someone, you would say mama for their mum. But the Korean kinship terms have basically fried my brain because you have to refer to people's parents differently. Um, there's a like parents trigger the politeness system. Like relatives trigger, like older relatives trigger the politeness system, but
Mm.
not necessarily the formality system.
Mm.
And so you can talk very casually with someone, but if you're talking about their parents, you suddenly have to start mixing polite language um, with casual speech level,
Mm.
and it gets very confusing for me very quickly. Um,
That does sound confusing.
the ones where I'm used to mixing them is okay, but if I'm trying to be casual and then I'm like, "Oh, your great parents, how are they doing?" But like it, I guess it's because in our languages, like in English, formality and politeness tends to be kind of close to each other.
Mm.
Um, I guess not super strictly, but yeah, they are very clear and very split in Korean.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so, do you have ideas for forms?
Um, off the top of my head, no. I'm worrying this might be something that we'll have to, like I'll have to add to my, like, homework list of doing some percolating maybe?
If you find time at some point, then you can make some forms
Yeah.
and we can work out what's happening there. I think that we've kind of done the hard bit, which is
Mm.
just working out what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, like, what the system is and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wouldn't take us that long too also if I don't, because for those of you that don't know, I'm being really dumb this week, and I've decided to, like, give myself a writing challenge, so I'm doing a lot of writing this week and basically nothing else. So we'll see what I have time for.
You're doing so much writing. It's insane.
I'm so
I
behind.
do not know. I don't know how you're like I think that it's like for me, the stuff that I'm interested in is usually not that useful. And so I feel like it's my battle with like my dopamine just to
Mm.
be like, quick, dopamine hit, then go and do the thing I need to do. Whereas I feel like you're so locked in. Like incredible like I don't know. Trying to like get you to stop doing something is so hard.
I mean that's a very true statement. I will say I'm probably less locked in than I look like it from the outside, which is partially why I'm having to do this week is because there's been so many things that have been coming up with, like, my book coming out. There's so many, like, fun, exciting tasks that I have to do for that, and then for, like, SpecCon coming up, there's so many fun, exciting tasks for that, that, like, sometimes the writing, especially because there's so much of it to do, like, it tends to get like, "Well, that's less exciting at the moment." It's like, I'm still making good progress, but, like, I need to do nothing else
Mhm.
for 6 days mostly. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not even through a full day,
Okay.
so might be
Okay.
yeah.
I wish you lots of luck in your trials and
Thank you.
tribulations.
Thank you. We can pull up a side by side of like how I look this week and like how dead I look next week on stream. Like if I'm just like over here twitching, like half like, you know, I don't know.
You'll be fine.
It'll be good. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna at least try to do some thinking on this. And I mean making like
Let me
I'll think.
know like before Saturday.
Mhm.
Like Thursday, Friday, I'm quite busy. So if I'm preparing stuff for like training wheels lang, it will be Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. I
So
have a little
yeah,
bit of a
that's
window
fine.
on Wednesday for a break that I will make sure I'll try to make the decision then.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep. That'll be good. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Trying to think. Okay. So end of stream reminders. Yeah. That's true. Oh my gosh, that's so good. There's the Let's Have a David's birthday stream tomorrow.
You're saying this. I do not know what we're gonna do. It may have nothing to do with David whatsoever.
But
I
it's
mean, we'll
still
bring it
funny.
up.
Mhm.
I love when Jesse reminds us our birthdays on let's have a time studio.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when we do the merger. That will
Mm.
be what we call it. Let's have a time studio.
I like it. I like it. So we'll have that. We have Laying Time Studio on Thursday.
One's
Is this
unknown Sundays.
Conlanging Saturday?
Saturday.
And this is the Friday I'm doing the public Pillar World stream, I think.
Ooh,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
exciting.
The Savannah? I think we're doing Dragons for the Savannah on Friday.
Mm,
I think that's happening.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think that makes sense.
Yep, it'll be good. Okay. I think that's all the things.
Okay.
Cool. Sweet. Very good. Thank you everybody for watching our delightful
Oh,
waffling
what
and
cookies
kinship.
did you get?
Which cookies?
Oh no, I remembered the bus.
The
Oh my
bus.
bus cookies.
The bus cookies, the Walker's biscuits.
I'm sure that like I might have known that brand. I think Walker's. I think of crisps.
Mm,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have a good afternoon / evening.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
So I click the button. There it is.